स्टडी IQ IAS, अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।
Welcome to StudyIQ's initiative, the podcast. I am your host, Dipansh Moorjani. So get your juices flowing because it is time for the podcast of the day. In the last episode of the podcast, we had discussed all the provisions related to governor of a state. So all the new listeners out there can listen to our previous episodes not only on YouTube but also on all the audio streaming platforms like Spotify, Hubhopper, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, etc. Sir, in today's episode, with your guidance, we want to understand the issues that are related to the post of governor. The post of governor has been subject to a lot of debates over the years. So, can you please enlighten us on the controversies which are related to the post of governor?
In the context of recent controversies of role of governor in the state of Maharashtra, using strong words to express its serious concern over the active role being played by governors in state politics, the Supreme Court in March 2023 said it is very disconcerting that they are becoming part of political process to participate the fall of elected governments. The relationship between the office of governor and the elected government has been strained and tense in multiple states in recent times. Critics argue that the recent political controversies between governors and state government poses challenge to the functioning of the federal structures as envisaged in the constitution and also tarnish the standing of dignified constitutional post. Constitutional experts contend that to avoid such developments, governors should stick to their constitutional mandate. In recent past, the state of Tamil Nadu, in January 2023, the governor refused to read some parts of the governor's address at the beginning of the session of the state legislative assembly. He introduced some of his own words into it. The governor also walked out of the house after the assembly passed a resolution to put on a record only the original speech that was prepared by the state government for the governor. In January 2022, the Tamil Nadu state government had taken exceptions to Governor's Republic Day speech articulating the benefits of NEET examination, the medical entrance exam. Tamil Nadu Assembly had passed a bill to exempt the state from NEET. The governor had sent it back to the Legislative Assembly for reconsideration this kind of bill. In the state of West Bengal, there was a public spat between the governor and the chief minister. Chief minister went to the extent of blocking the governor on social media. The governor and the chief minister had differences on several issues, including the administration and appointments in the state-run universities. The West Bengal Assembly in June 2022 passed a bill paving the way for making the chief minister the chancellor of state universities, replacing the earlier governor from the post. In Kerala, governor sought the resignation of 9 vice chancellors following a Supreme Court judgment setting up the appointment of vice chancellor of Technology University. The governor had also said that the statements of individual ministers that lower the dignity of the office of governor can invite action including withdrawal of the pleasure. Why governor said this? It is because under Article 164 subsection 1, the chief minister shall be appointed by the governor and the other ministers shall be appointed by the governor on the advice of the chief minister, and the minister shall hold office during the pleasure of the governor. In the state of Jharkhand, the governor of Jharkhand didn't act on the advice of Election Commission of India to disqualify the chief minister of Jharkhand for violation of electoral norms. The delay by governor resulted in prolonged political uncertainty in the state.
Sir, what are the reasons that are associated with these issues and controversies?
We will try to understand the issues of these kind of conflicts between governor and state governments. It is because first, appointment and removal procedure of governor. The governor is appointed by the president and holds the office during the pleasure of the president. There are no specified qualification for appointing a person as the governor. The president appoints and removes the governor based on the recommendations of the union government. Thus, the governor tends to act according to the liking of the union government. Under Article 155, Governor of State shall be appointed by the President by warrant under his hand and seal. Next issue is constitutional discretion. According to Article 163, there is a Council of Ministers to aid and advise the Governor to exercise her functions. However, the Constitution provides certain discretionary powers to Governor, where she can act without the advice of Council. For example, the Governor can reserve a bill passed by the State Legislative Assembly for the reconsideration of the President of India. In the second case, exercising Governor's power under Article 356, he can recommend President's rule in the state to the President. In the third situation, Governor can act in a discretion where the Governor can appoint Chief Ministers when no political party has a clear-cut majority. In the fourth situation, the Governor can dismiss the Council of Ministers if they are unable to prove confidence in the State Legislative Assembly. Among others, the exercise of the discretion sometimes result in political differences between governor and state government. The next important reason is political reasons. The conflict between the office of governor and the council of minister or chief ministers is more common when different political parties are in power at union and state level. This shows that the conflict is largely due to political differences. For example, in West Bengal, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Jharkhand are ruled by different political parties than at the center.
Sir, while understanding issues related to governor, it becomes very important for aspirants to understand the Supreme Court's mandate. So can you elaborate the Supreme Court's vision related to the issues of governor?
As the constitutional office of governor having always in a controversy, Supreme Court steps in every time to guide what are the clear powers, functions and role of governor. In the case of Shamsher Singh versus State of Punjab in 1974, the Supreme Court held that the governor is bound to act in accordance with the aid and advice of Council of Ministers, which is headed by Chief Minister. Under Article 154 subsection 1 makes it clear that the executive power of the state is vested in the governor. However, they shall be exercised by him in accordance with the Constitution. The next important judgment is S.R. Bommai versus Union of India 1994. The case was concerned with the use of Article 356 and the governor's power to dismiss a state government. The Supreme Court ruled that whether the state government has the majority should be tested on the floor of the House. It shouldn't be based on the subjective assessment of the governor. Rameshwar Prasad versus Union of India in 2006, Supreme Court held that the governor's decision to dissolve the assembly as unconstitutional and malified. In the next judgment, Nambam Rebai versus Deputy Speaker in 2016, the governor had went against the advice of state cabinet and called the session off to the Legislative Assembly at an earlier date. The Supreme Court confirmed that the governor does not enjoy broad discretionary powers and is always subject to constitutional standards. The court concluded that the governor's discretion did not extend to the powers conferred under the Article 174. Hence, he could not summon the House, determine its legislative agenda, or address the Legislative Assembly without consultation.
Sir, we have seen over the years a lot of bodies and commissions have been formed to resolve these issues related to governor. So can you throw some light on these recommendations?
As the office of governor is always in controversies, there are various committees which recommended some reforms. In this context, the first is Administrative Reforms Commission 1969, which is ARC First 1969. The commission recommended that non-partisan person having long experience in public life and administration should be appointed as governor of a state. In the next phase, Sarkaria Commission in 1988 recommended few of the points. Number 1, regarding appointments of governor. The governor should be appointed after consultation with the chief minister of the concerned state. The governor should be eminent in some walk of life and he should be from outside of the state. The person should be a detached figure without intense political links or should not have taken part in politics in recent past. This is to make sure that political neutrality will come out of the governor's office. Whosoever is becoming a governor, that person should not be a member of any ruling party. Regarding the removal of governor, Sarkaria Commission have given some recommendations. The governor should be removed before the end of his term only on the grounds if doubts are raised about his morality, dignity or constitutional propriety. The second recommendation for removal by Sarkaria Commission is that in the process of removal before the end of the term, the state government may be informed and consulted before his removal. Whenever the use of Article 356, Sarkaria Commission have recommended when and how to use this Article 356 by governor. The Article 356 should be used very sparingly and as a matter of last resort. It can be invoked only in the event of political crisis, internal subversion, physical breakdown and non-compliance with the constitutional directives of the center. The next important recommendations is done by National Commission to Review the Working of Constitution NCRWC. The governor should be appointed by a committee comprising the Prime Minister, Home Minister, Speaker of Lok Sabha and Chief Minister of the concerned state. The second ARC recommended that the Interstate Council needs to come up with some guidelines for governors to follow when they are using their discretionary power. It is because while using the discretionary power, it should not happen when the governor and state are coming as a friction between each other. The next important commission is Punchi Commission 2010. First recommendation by the commission is that it proposed giving governors a fixed term of 5 years and removing them through an impeachment process similar as to the president. However, this kind of initiation should be done by state legislature. The doctrine of pleasure for removal of governors should be deleted, Punchi Commission recommended. Punchi Commission also reiterated the recommendations of Sarkaria Commission regarding appointments of governor. The person shouldn't be active in politics as Sarkaria Commission said earlier. The convention of making the governors as chancellors of university should be done away with. And even Article 355 and Article 356 should be amended to allow the union government to bring specific troubled areas under its rule for a limited period instead of the whole state.
Sir, from our mains answer writing perspective, can you suggest some solutions or way forwards to this problem?
As an aspirant, we need to analyze any issue. However, it is very important to have some way forwards in your approach of thought process or in answer writing also. First way forward can be multiple commissions have provided very pragmatic recommendations regarding functioning of the office of governor. These recommendations should be implemented in right earnest, especially those related to the appointment and removal of governor by Sarkaria Commission as well as Punchi Commission. Second, both Punchi and Sarkaria Commission had recommended that governors should not be burdened with the positions and powers that were beyond their constitutional domain. This was done with the intention of shielding the high office of governor from needless public controversies. In addition, the Punchi and the Sarkaria Commission both agreed that this would be in best interest of a state. A conflict with a state government could thus be avoided by taking such an action. Third way forward can be the governor should also act in the best interest of a state as well as the union. The governor should not act as the agent of the political party in power at the center. The governor should act as a link between the state and the union government. Fourth way forward can be governor's discretion and constitutional mandate should be guided by certain norms and principles, which can be defined in a code of conduct. Discretion must be a decision that is guided by reason, motivated by good faith, and tempered by caution. Fifth way forward is certain codification can be undertaken regarding discretionary powers as well. For example, determining the areas in which they have discretion, establishing a time frame within which they can must act in discretion, and stating unequivocally that they are required to follow the advice of cabinet when dealing with the bills. The recent controversies surrounding the office of governor are avoidable and unnecessary. Such controversies malign the dignity of high constitutional office. The union and state governments should abide by spirit of the constitution as well as the Supreme Court's judgment in this regard. The implementation of recommendations of various commissions can ensure that such needless controversies do not arise in future. The governors should also act according to their constitutional mandate rather than acting as a political agents.
So we can say that to maintain a healthy relation between union and state, governor should work in an unbiased manner. Sir, thank you for giving us the information. Dear listeners, it is time to wrap up this episode of the podcast. In the next episode, we will be back with another topic. Till then, stay connected with StudyIQ and keep studying. You can listen to StudyIQ Presents the podcast on various audio streaming platforms like Spotify, Hubhopper, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, etc. Links are pinned in the comment section below. Thank you.